Hi, Sonali. Welcome to the Brighter Side of Life, episode 2. It's such a pleasure to have you on this and to talk about your journey before marriage and now after being married. Um, you know, I was reading through what you wrote about yourself and your journey. You said it has been a kind of a movie that you've been in, and you called your love story straight out of a fairy tale book. So, could you elaborate on that?
Sure. So basically, our story has been quite a romantic whirlwind. We started out not liking each other at the beginning of college. Then we ended up becoming the best of friends, and the timing didn't really work out because it was like, we were both seeing other people, and then finally, when we were both single at the same time, it was like, okay, now we can give this a shot. So that kind of a story, like how they have in the movies, was a little bit there. I like to think of it that way. Um, and then we finally found each other.
So, how long was this process?
We met actually 10 years ago. So we met in August of 2011 on one of the first few days of college, actually. And but we didn't become good friends. We started off kind of on the wrong foot, which was my fault, actually. And we only became best friends the second year of college. So that way, then we became inseparable, and he graduated after the third year of college. He finished early. So by then we were already best friends, but then we only started dating after I moved back in 2016, basically. So that was 4 years after we knew each other or had met. And we've been together since 2016, and now it's been 5 years together and a little bit more. So yeah, and now we're married. So we went from not liking each other to becoming best friends to dating. So it's been quite the journey.
It really has quite a journey. So, tell me, how did he propose to you?
So it was the most amazing thing, I would say, because he built a maze of all our memories together in the Blue Sea Banquet Hall, and basically put all these different types of walls with all our memories and photos together, and each turn was a different phase of our lives together. So it started out with us and our childhood pictures before we knew each other, our separate lives, not knowing the other one exists. Then it moved into our college phase where we first, got to know each other. Then it moved into the phase where we became best friends, and all our photos and memories and a video of those times. And then the next turn was when we started dating, and we actually became, boyfriend and girlfriend, and all the romantic stuff started. And then the next turn was our pictures with each other's families, and, just showing how close we had become to each other's families already. And the last picture on that wall was him with my family without me, because that was the day he had gone to ask them for their blessings, because he wanted to ask me to marry him. So he had gone to tell them, I want to propose to your daughter, and do you have my blessings? And they were like, of course, we are so thrilled, and you're already a son to us. So then the last part of the proposal was a blue room. And when we entered the blue room, there was a four walls of my favorite shade of blue. As you can tell, I'm wearing it on my fingernails because I just love that color. And basically, yeah, it said our hashtag #JamsGotSoFab on that wall, and that's where he knelt down and asked me to marry him. And it was so funny because we wanted that moment to be private, just the two of us, but at the same time, he wanted it captured. So he asked the photographers to cut out circles in the wall and put their camera lens in the circle because they could capture the moment, but at the same time they weren't with us, so we were still alone, the two of us, but the moments could still be captured. So that was, I thought, really innovative thinking on his part. And that also reflects on the person he is. You know, he thinks of everything. And it's very innovative that way. And then the second walkthrough, he told me, you know, after I said yes and I put the ring on my finger and everything, he was like, before you call anyone and tell them you're engaged, let's walk through again, because we had walked through the maze the first time alone, just the two of us, and I was just sobbing the whole time. And he kept tissues on every corner because he knew I'm gonna cry. So and finally he was like, let's walk through again the second time with the camera people, so that, you know, they can capture the setup and everything. And by the time we walked through the second time and reached the blue room, they had taken off one wall and there were only 3 walls. And then over there, our family and friends were standing where the wall had been removed, and they all just rushed to us and, you know, congratulated us. And it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life, I would say.
How beautiful is that? I hope you have a video, and I wish we could have the video as well. You know, it is, you know, this has culminated into now wedding preps. So how long was the wedding preparation, and how did you decide your destination? And was getting married in a lockdown a challenge? So I asked you 3
okay. So let me start with the wedding preps. Firstly, actually, let me start with the getting married in a lockdown thing, because that affects how everything else happened. So I was in London at the time and he was in Bombay. So for 6 months, we didn't see each other, and there was no, you know, safe way to get to each other. So it was tough. But then we did a lot of our wedding stuff on Zoom and or on Instagram. And then our swatches got mailed to us, you know, physically in the mail, so that we could see them, because so many things happened just virtually, including my wedding lehenga and including what I wore to the mehndi as well. And then I happened to see on Instagram, I was looking for my reception outfit, because at the time we were thinking we'd do a really small wedding in October 2020, because, you know, times had become so difficult. We thought we'd do like 30 people in London, which was allowed at the time. And basically then it ended up not happening, because our families couldn't actually meet us and couldn't be there. So we decided to postpone to next year, or, you know, a few months later, when people could actually be there, the ones who mattered to us the most. So at that time, I think it was tough letting go of certain ideas and understanding that, you know, postponing might make it better, because, you know, it's been really hard for brides and grooms and families planning weddings, because, you know, you can't even have the people you want at your wedding there to celebrate you, because especially for us, where we have a family living in different parts of the world, we have people in Spain, Jaynit's family in Bombay, you know, we were always thinking our wedding would be the one time all our worlds collided in one place and be there for us together, and they'd get to know each other. And it was kind of disheartening to know that, you know, we probably wouldn't get to have that. But then when we postponed, we got to have more people, because thankfully we did it in India instead. First we were thinking Spain or, you know, somewhere else. But then we did it in India, because most of our guests were coming from India. And as soon as my family came, like as soon as they were able to come from Spain and, you know, be there, then we all felt a little bit more comfortable, because then we did it in Udaipur. So from Bombay to Udaipur at the time was quite easy, because, you know, we were very lucky, touch wood. The cases were at their lowest. This was towards mid to end February.
So tell me, how did you manage to decide your reception gown?
So the reception gown was such a special outfit. I was just scrolling through Neeta Auntie's page, because when we decided to shift the wedding to February, we realized we're going to have a Sangeet, we're going to have a reception, it's going to be all the functions. So I was like, okay, time to look for a reception outfit. I want something different. I want something not done before. I want something, you know, something that's very me. And I like these different innovative concepts. I like trying new things. So I was looking through Neeta Auntie's Instagram page and I saw one highlight that said Millennial Bride. And I couldn't really tell what it was, but I opened the highlight and I saw, somebody with like a pink dress lighting up. And I was like, what is that? So I messaged Neeta Auntie and I was like, what is this design that you have? What is this concept? And she said, this is our Millennial Bride look. This is our LED dress. And I was like, wow, can we see if it's doable? And she said, of course. And then the rest is history. And she made me look like a real life princess on my reception day, lit up. And she made for Jaynit also a bow tie and a matching pocket square, which also lit up. And that moment when we just walked out together and greeted all our friends and family as a married couple for the first time, it was just spectacular. So many comments and compliments and so many people noticing that dress and saying, wow, what a dress. It's so different. It's so interesting. It looks just fantastic. So thank you, Neeta Auntie, for that. I'll never forget that experience.
Thank you so much. But tell me, how did you find the process of fitting into it? I just watching you fit into it. So I want to know what were your thoughts, because, at that point in time, we were only about fitting you and you were leaving. So I want your comments on that.
So everything happened so quickly. I don't even know how we pulled together so quickly. I think I came to you in January and the wedding was in February. So it was like there was literally no time to do anything. And I don't know how you pulled it off. And I came for my trials and it was a process, getting into the can and then getting into the main dress and then how it fit on me. And I was on this intense diet at the time. So every time I came for my fittings, it was more and more loose for me. And Neeta Auntie's like, oh my God, again, we'll have to tighten it. Again, I have to alter it. I have to send it here and then they need to send it back. And the microfibers and the fiber optics and the I don't know what have to be changed and everything. So it was quite a process. And she's like, don't lose more weight. This is your final fitting. Stay this size. And it was, just trying to just jump into that can and tie it tight enough so that it wouldn't fall off because it was so heavy. It was just such a
I want to know, when everyone saw you in that outfit and you did that dance, it was simply magical. What were your thoughts when you were dancing? And, you could hear from the background people commenting on you and the dance and the entire process and you lighting up in different colors and stuff. So what were your thoughts then?
I was like, oh my God, how am I going to dance in this outfit? Because it was like 1.5 meters of diameter, I think, something like that. And I was like, we had so many in my dad's dance with me. So we did a dance, me and my dad, and then I had my first dance with Jaynit as a married couple. So in the dance with my dad, it was fairly simple steps. So I wasn't worried about that. I just didn't want him to step on it. But so the whole time with my dad, in my head, I was like, don't step on it, don't step on it, don't step on it. But what was more concerning was my dance with Jaynit, because that one had a lot of twirls and a lot of, steps where we were really close together, a lot of movement and by happy dancing feet. And it was such a beautiful dance that I didn't want it to be, compromised because the dress was so big. And I didn't want the dress to, not be done justice to either, because the steps was not enough twirling. I wanted to do justice to the dance as well as the dress. But luckily, I don't want to say trained, but my husband, he really practiced with me in a lehenga. And it wasn't as big, but we tried a lot to practice with something and keep a distance between us, because I told him it's going to be big, it's going to take up space. So just prepare for that. And on the day of, it was just seamless. And I was so nervous, but actually it flowed so beautifully, the dress, that during the twirls, it was a little bit off the ground, which was perfect because if he stepped next to me, because the dress had lifted up a bit, he didn't step on the actual dress. So it was actually looked quite graceful. And over there, we were like, don't step on it, don't step on it, praying that everything was going well. And he was like, I don't want to step on it. And I was like, I don't want you to step on it. But it actually looked quite seamless. So that was really
And you had
pleasant surprise.
And you had such a gorgeous smile on your face. And so did Janet. Nobody could make out that you guys were like, don't step on this on the gown.
Thank you.
So, what is the one thing that you love about Janet?
So there's so many things I love about him, but one thing is his cheeky nature. You know, he's so like, he likes to trouble people and cause mischief, and he's like a prankster. You know, it's so much fun being around him because he'll always tease you or make jokes, and you can't help but laugh even if the joke is about you. And it makes it so much fun. You know, it reminds us of when we were just best friends, and I think a lot of our relationship is best friends, and I love that.
Oh, fabulous. So we asked Janet about what is the one thing he loves about you. And we have a video which we are going to play as a surprise.
Oh, really?
Yes. And thank you so much, Sonali. Thank you so much for this. It was fabulous to have you on the brighter side of life. And we wish you a very, very happily married life and lots of fun and lots of laughter your way for years and years to come.
Thank you so much, Neeta Auntie. This has been so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.